Thank you, Chair, and thanks to all our witnesses for your expertise. I'm going to start with Mr. McGowan. The Alberta Federation of Labour and the energy workers that you represent were really out front on this issue and really pushed the Liberal government on the issue of getting tax credits and getting a program like the IRA. And I think it was widely expected that Alberta would be first out of the gate, given the huge potential, the huge level of expertise, the opportunity, the entrepreneurial spirit. So I'd like to get a sense of what it's meant since the Danielle Smith government has decided to put a spike in clean energy investments. We've been told that upwards of $35 billion in projects are now on hold or pulling out. Could you tell us what it's meant for the energy workers in Alberta, the decision by the Conservatives in Alberta to attack clean energy?
Well, the UCP government's announcement of the moratorium on renewable energy development was frankly devastating and demoralizing for the workers we represent in Alberta, and frankly for the majority of Albertans. It came out of the blue. We weren't expecting it, and it's exactly the opposite of what we need. I sent a letter on behalf of our 175,000 members shortly after the announcement, and I said that she, with this moratorium, she and her government were undermining a thriving industry in the renewable sector, that they were killing current jobs and jeopardizing future jobs, and frankly, I argued that they were turning Alberta into an investment pariah. Because as we've heard from other witnesses today, and as we know from media coverage over the past, 6 months or so, it's not just the Americans with the IRA. Basically, every country in this world has looked at the devastation that climate change has wrought this summer, and floods, fires, extreme weather. And citizens are demanding that their governments take action. And so this is not an option for Alberta, or for the country. The energy transition is happening whether we like it or not. We can't choose to turn it off or turn it on. However, what we can choose is how we respond to it. And as many of the witnesses have argued today, the best way to respond to it is by embracing IRA-style government-led industrial policy in the public interest to pivot our economies towards a lower carbon future. That might seem scary, but it's inevitable. So we don't have a choice to go backward. But it also presents all sorts of opportunities. But those are exactly the opportunities that are being crushed or at least postponed by the UCP's decision to put a moratorium on renewable energy development. But it's supposed to be a 7-month moratorium. But what we're afraid of, and I think what many Albertans are afraid of, is that it will make us an investment pariah even after they lift the moratorium, because it's already sent the message, and the message is renewable energy investment is not wanted in this province. That's devastating in terms of investment, job creation, and the future of our economy.
Well, thank you for that. I certainly talked to a lot of people in critical minerals who are pumped. They're ready to move investment stateside on a dime because of the opportunities. So Calgary Economic Development, hardly a left-wing think tank, but they could get heckled at our committee, I don't know, said that 170,000 jobs would be created in Alberta alone by these investments in clean energy. We've been told that there's a fear that these jobs and these opportunities are going stateside because of the clear investments that are offered to the IRA. Are you concerned that we're going to lose those jobs from Alberta energy workers stateside as a result of the UCP's ideological attack on clean tech?
Yeah, that giant sucking sound you hear is billions in investment and thousands of jobs migrating from Alberta down to the United States because of this moratorium. It's not a question of if we're going to lose investment of jobs. It's a question of when and how much. The Americans under the Biden administration have put in place a framework that is incenting literally trillions of dollars of investment If we do nothing, we're just going to lose all the investment and jobs.
Thank you. I have to interrupt you here because I'm running out of time. I think what's a real concern is that Danielle Smith claims that the transition is decades away. I would like to get your sense of that because we know that Suncor just laid off 1,500 workers. Rich Kruger has said he's going to target workers in this effort to build up profits, and we've seen a 50,000 job loss in the oil sector in Alberta in the last 10 years. Is the transition decades away, or is it happening now, and do we have to adapt to it for Alberta energy workers?
Yeah, we represent workers on the front line, and they tell us every day that the transition is already happening. We hear it in the stories from our members, but we also see it in the labor force numbers. We used to have about 180,000 people working directly in oil and gas. At the peak in Alberta, we're down to about 140,000 now. And because companies like Suncor are producing more with fewer people as a result of automation, that number is just going to continue declining. And so, the transition is upon us. And so that's the question that I will pose on behalf of the Alberta workers that we represent.
I'm going to have to
members
jump
of
in.
this committee. Where will the job and future prosperity come from in this global energy transition if we don't embrace an IRA-style industrial policy to pivot our economy? Thank you.